All right. Thank you for staying with us. Conversations behind the scene. But then, in the wake of the announcement by the Central Bank of Nigeria that is redesigning the Naira and will release new notes into circulation from December the 15th, the national currency has continued to be under pressure against the dollar. This development has been blamed on bureau de change operators and individuals desperate to convert huge amounts of money that they had stashed away into hard currency. To address the situation, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is going after BDC operators and individuals who have stashed ill-gotten wealth. The commission has arrested some BDC operators during a raid in Abuja and Kano. And in Kogi, the EFCC arrested the State House of Assembly candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, Ismaila Tume, and two others with 326 million naira and $140,500 cash. The anti-corruption agency says the raid would also be extended to Lagos, Onitsha, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, and other major cities across the country. Well, joining us now to talk about this is a player in the industry. He will be bringing us up to speed on how the government is addressing this matter. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, when you look at what is happening, especially with the Naira and the EFCC going to, arrest bureau de change operators, what do you make of this move by the government?
In economics, there are monetary terms, policy, there are fiscal policy, all has to work hand in hand. Yeah. That is first and foremost. So then secondly, there's a place of security, and there's also the place for economics also. So now, yes, even politics, but then you try to take politics out of the economy as much as you can. What we are saying now is what should have been done for a while. Because you saw the Naira taking a nosedive, not because, though we have the challenge of supply in terms of legitimate supply, but what we see is speculators. And what we see was that this thing started happening immediately. The CBN said, we stop issuing dollars to bureau de change. Now, I have a problem with that. If you stop that, then you create another window for those legitimate people that normally patronize the bureau de change. That space was not created. They capitalized on that, and they started doing what they are doing now. Now, is truly the value of the Naira to the dollar this current exchange rate? Definitely not. Even the World Bank, the IMF, you see they've been silent. If it was overpriced, they will say, oh, your Naira to dollar is overpriced. But this time they are silent because they know it's speculators. Now, what are we seeing? Most of the money that are pursuing the dollar, that is taking the dollar, are out of the banking space. Right. They are not in the banking space. So most of this money are stashed at home, either through corruptions, mostly by corruptions, then through fraudulent activities. Now, when I mean corruption is, maybe because of the body language of Mr. President in terms of corruption, most corrupt officials, especially the civil servant, tend to keep those money at home and then change it to dollar. All you need to do is just listen to what EFCC was talking about, the accountant general. All the funds, the Naira's funds, were changed into dollars. So that's what has been happening. So now, for you to escape your corrupt tendency, you change the Naira to the dollar because we don't have control over what happened to the dollar. We have control over what happened to the Naira. So definitely that's what is playing out.
But what does the law say? Is it illegal for you to go to bureau to change your money to dollar?
It's not illegal for you to go to...
So why is EFCC raiding them? What is the law?
The law does not say it is illegal. Now, EFCC will tell you one thing. There's illicit forms, there's terrorism form, there's kidnapping form, there's banditry form, and all these forms find their way through the bureau de change. Yeah. That has been established. Some people have been jailed, even if not in Nigeria, from Dubai for funding terrorism through bureau de change. Yeah. So they have that saying that, look, most of the illicit funds that fund terrorism, most of the funds that are used in criminal activities, all you need to do is to read the paper and realize that all the funds that are come in sense of crime are always passed through the bureau de change. So they are saying that most of the people that start this fund, legitimate people that goes to, do your exchange transaction with bureau de change are not being harassed. It's when they said, okay, you bring a illicit fund into the market, how did you get your fund?
How do you know what is an illicit fund and what is not?
Well, I think those security agents, they have their details. That's what I feel. They have what they are looking for. when a fund is not coming from the banking space, it's criminal. If you want to exchange, you go to the bank sometime. You need to get funds. You go to inside the bank.
But if you say so, there are a lot of people who are criminal.
Definitely.
All those people selling their akara.
No.
They are criminals.
Those people selling akaras are not holding dollars. They are not holding dollars.
No, you said you can't give you money outside this.
When I mean outside the banking space, I'm not talking about keeping 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira. I'm talking about.
Is there a law how much?
Is
Is there a law how much you must keep? Is there a law how much you must keep outside the banking space?
There should be a law.
There's no law.
There should be a law.
No. You are speculative. You are speculating like those who are speculating Naira. You can't speculate on law.
No. There should be.
There should be a law.
You are speculating. That's what I'm saying.
There should be a law.
But there's no law.
There should be a law because
when there's no
people
law,
say there's no law. Why do the EFCC or the goes after people that hoard money or use? They said even the CBN have said hoarding of money, changing of money on traffic using and they clean Naira note is criminal.
No, there has been law about that. There have been laws about that.
So
there's no law about holding your money outside the banking
How much you should keep.
How much you should keep. There's no law.
There's no law about that. But then there's no law about that.
There's
But
no law.
indirectly there's a law because you cannot withdraw more than 120,000.
It doesn't say that, but it doesn't say that this is the amount you must have. It's a different thing that you must. That is monetary. That's monetary regulation. That is no law.
That is what we see in Nigeria is that. That's why we are saying the physical side have not been able to do their own work. What we are saying that all the policy that is being driven by CBN are not policies that should be driven by CBN. CBN is to be concentrating on monetary policy, but because the physical side seems to be non-existent, CBN tend to go into that area.
The monetary side is non-existent. It is that you are taking this decision because you have not really coalesced or integrated your policy with the fiscal side.
Because there's no fiscal policy.
No, there's always fiscal policy.
How?
But what the fiscal policies
Where?
are always
It's
there.
non-existent. That's why you see CBN intervening directly.
No. This is a monetary matter. It's not a matter for fiscal.
What EFCC is doing, EFCC is doing the fiscal work because let me tell you, the decision taken by CBN is more security. It's not more economical because let me tell you, CBN have used all the available means. They have used the monetary policy skill. The only tool that CBN have not been able to use very well is mopping up liquidity. And these liquidities find themselves outside the banking space because you can't print 3-point-something trillion and all you have in the banking space is 1-point-something trillion. So you'll not be able to reduce inflation.
This is a 49 trillion Naira economy.
You don't have to, if you print currency,
you cannot say Nigeria as we are, as an economy, we are 4 trillion. You can't say that. That is not true. We are 49 trillion Naira economy and you are chasing 3 trillion Naira.
That's what to do to monitor our way to control.
So how do you abandon? It's just like what I said later that I'm being political now. Abacha, I say Abacha. Am I mentioning Abacha? Atiku abandons his 5 political parties. What they call it? Governors. And you forget them, and you are going back to chase 5 others that you cannot see. Pie in the sky. How do you do that? That's the argument.
The CBN have gone. We've saying this, and I've said it on your program.
Yeah.
The CBN is doing what normally the physical should do. The CBN is directly intervening in sectors that they are not supposed to be. That should be normal.
Becoming activists.
Exactly. Because the CBN is intervening directly in rice, the CBN is intervening in wheat production, CBN is intervening directly in providing jobs. So it's not the prerogative of CBN to do that. But now, this is the problem they have. If you are bringing out monetary policies that are cannot be complemented with fiscal policies, then you have a problem.
Is a failure. Are you saying that is the failure of the man who approved this system? Is the president himself? The president himself is in charge of fiscal and monetary. He's in charge of everything. How do you approve this? I don't approve that. How does the CBN believe that he can do the work when you go to the president? When the CBN governor goes to the president and says, I want you to mop up the floor. If you say you want to mop up the floor, you won't tell the president, these are the things we are going to anticipate. Okay. You don't anticipate it, and the dollar is how much now? You are in the business. How much is it today?
Well,
Naira.
Today it's about 820. But before the rate, it went to 897. Yes. Was even in some state, it hit 900. So definitely you could see, you could see some little changes because
820 is no joke.
820 is no joke from 900.
No, it didn't start at 900.
It started from 400.
It started from 7. No. It was less than 800 before it started. It was around 750 before this decision. Then it went up to about 880.
Yes. Now let me tell you why.
880 is now 820 and we're celebrating?
No, we are not celebrating. But what I'm trying to tell you is that what you are seeing now is panic. What you are seeing now is the law of demand and supply. What you are seeing now, a lot of dollars that have been stored in the houses are beginning to chase the few. I mean, a lot of Naira that have been stored now are beginning to chase the few available dollars.
Yes.
So demand and supply. This policy is not going to bring food on the table of the ordinary Nigeria. It's not going to create job for the ordinary Nigeria. In the short term, this policy may jack up inflation. But in the long term, if they are able to stand their ground.
You know that's what economists say. Economists always say that, let us project. And the thing with Nigerian economists and economists everywhere is that they try to project, they try to play God with the future. But they have no control over the future. They have never been.
You can never be.
That's what they do. Look at UK now. UK is trying to face its worst with all the egghead economists. Of the heads of Exchequer. Now they are saying that they are facing the longest recession in record.
Yes,
record.
But you need to see what they are, the longest recession in record, but you need to look at what the physical side are doing. The physical side are trying to put money in the hands of their people. They are bringing up palliative. There's not in the UK. They are not saying there's going to be job losses.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
We're doing the physical side is non-existent.
That's what I'm saying. That you don't take decision like this.
Why is it that way? Why is it that way?
Yeah.
Maybe you ask Mr. President.
That's the question we are saying. That how do you make a monetary decision without reconciling with the other part of the economy?
Okay, now let me.
So that means that decision is wrong-headed.
It's wrong-headed. But let me say why the CBN did that now. You know, initially, you remember Chukwuma Soludo tried to redominate our currency.
Yes, he did.
And he did.
And it was
the president said, no.
You can't do that.
You can't do that because you did not inform me. The act of the CBN permit the head of the fiscal policy is the Mr. President.
Yes.
So the CBN went to meet him, I'm sure, and said, this is what we want to do.
The president said
he agreed to it.
Yes.
That is why, because the CBN, more in his presentation to the president, must have used the security angle of it rather than the economic angle of it. Which Mr. President himself has the physical side. He was the one to call the finance minister and said, come, we need to sit down together and look at this. And the finance minister was shocked when CBN came up with those deals. So that is why we are saying there is no synergy between the monetary and the physical side. Unfortunately, again, it's not an opposition government. It's not, it's still the same government. But the way the monetary and the physical side seems to be running is like one is in opposition of one, and then you cannot get it.
I want you to shed more light on the aspect of the long-term effect of this, because you were saying on the short term, we do not put food on the table of Nigerians, and that is going to increase the inflation, except they put their foot on the ground. How do you mean?
When I mean they put their foot on the ground, Nigerians are not used to keeping up. The CBN said by January 31st, we are going to make sure that you don't get the old Naira note.
Yeah.
But you know how it works. Maybe they come political pressure and they postpone it. And that would be a disaster if they do that. Because what you see then is that a lot of those monies will find themselves chasing the dollars, and that is why some people are so confident that the dollar to the Naira can get to 1,000.
Addressing this matter, I always say that in other crimes, they do it in the context of a largely formalized economy.
Exactly.
So when you want to mop up, you know where they are, and they keep coming up. It's just like an infrastructure, like a drainage system, where the water flows, you know where it's going to, where it's flowing back. But it's not like what you have in Kogi, where there is flood, and there's nowhere the water is going. So everywhere, everybody is now drowning inside. That is the kind of potential thing we're having. That we are trying to use what the formalized people are using for their the formalized economies are using. We're trying to use it for a largely informal economy. I want to have the result of the formal economy.
If you realize that what CBN have been doing for thus far, what we've been doing, a lot of things that we've been doing, which the president have supported the CBN government, are informal. in the economic terms. We're trying to, you say, okay, CBN governor was saying one time that we are trying to build our own economy, but we don't have to follow what they are doing in the UK or in the US, but you want to achieve the same result they achieved in the UK and the US. In the first place, there is no room. They know any economy in the world whereby you see Bureau de change operate so, I mean, everywhere. Everywhere you go, you see somebody say, come and change. It's not done. And that has been in existence since 1988. I expected, I said this policy might be a disaster if you shift the goal. Remember when he came to power, Godwin Emefiele, at the point he banned the Bureau de change. Yeah. He said, no, you are not operating based on the standard. Yeah. And after some time, he lifted the ban. If he had stood his ground that time, we had supply. We were not facing COVID-19. We were not facing Russia-Ukraine crisis. Oil price was not that high, but was fair. So maybe by now we would have stabilized. Till to now, I'm still asking, why is the CBN not using the normal banking, conventional way to begin to operate?
It doesn't have the courage of his own privilege.
I think I totally agree with you on that, because the CBN
what you are saying, therefore, is that we are headed for a very uncertain time.
Definitely.
That's because they've not thought this thing through.
They didn't think it through. They didn't think it through. They only think it through in the area of, if you want the CBN
You're saying that I want to catch. It's like somebody who says that I want to go and catch that rabbit.
Yep.
What is the other host for the rabbit to run to? I know, they said, no, I will catch.
They have not taught the policy. They have not said the policy through. Because what he's looking at, if you watch the CBN governor, he's not talking about the economic implication of what he's doing. He's talking about we have a lot of funds outside. We have kidnappers. We have people that are, he's not talking about the economic value.
Do they have the statistics of the money held by politicians? Do they have the statistics of the one held by what they call it, of kidnappers? Do you think the kidnappers have up to 1 trillion?
They don't have up to that one. But
do they have the money that is in the hands of the informal sector?
Yeah. They don't.
They don't have the statistics.
They don't have the statistics.
It's a leap in the dark.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way CBN have always operated. That's the way monetary policies have always, like you said, in Nigeria. Monetary policy have not taken into consideration the data. You see, when we're talking about when you want to raise a hike rate, you tend to look at the physical side. What are they doing? So that the suffering will not be too much. Because hike of rates mean that cost of borrowing for businesses goes up. And when cost of borrowing for businesses goes up, the businessman in turn puts that cost on the people. There's no cushion. In the UK now, there are measures they are trying to do to cushion the effect on their people. Like tax, the reduction of tax, or trying to make sure that you have electricity subsidy, that. But in Nigeria, what we have is that push it out there, let the people endure, wait till the time that we'll
suffer until, and then pray, go to church and pray that things will continue to get better. And then say, and everybody will start saying, it is not my portion, it's not my portion. It was not this man, Liz Truss's portion until it became a portion. Because she said, oh, we're going to call the things we're going to give you a lot of palliatives and palliatives. Everybody said, this is not economy.
She it's like what I said about Liz Truss was that she went, it's just like Nigeria and said, we are no more selling oil. So all the oil money now, we are going to be giving it to the people. That is your cash cow. Their cash cow is tax.
It's tax.
And you now said, we are going
no tax, no money.
Nobody should pay tax. The economy is going to crumble. And the market responded negatively to
the rich. So the rich will not pay.
They will not pay tax. So what we are seeing in Nigeria is totally different. We are not capturing the informal sector. Like he said, in terms of tax policies, how do we capture the informal sector? How do we get more revenue? It's not by taxing already existing business. It's by looking for, we have unemployment. How can you give tax bracket? We have infrastructural decay. Why do you need to borrow? Why can't you use your infrastructure as a, like when you say as a collateral, build and pay, PPP. Then you have more money to go into social investment on health and education.
Look at what Lagos is doing with its red line, blue line. Yes. They are not borrowing a couple.
They're not borrowing a couple.
They're doing a collaboration with the private sector.
PPP. That is even the most talk about mega infrastructural bill by Joe Biden in America is being driven by PPP.
Now there's an issue. There's issue of flood. We just saw in the news that 22 states have dislocations. That means there are so many people who cannot move from point A to point B. And you want them to move from point A to bank, which is also another. How would they take their money?
You see, you are not looking at that disaster now. But again, you need to ask our governors what happened to the ecological funds.
That one is a matter. They should have thought about that before coming out.
So
with
if
this
Mr.
policy.
President is giving the minister for is it minister for
The environment.
for environment to come up with an action plan on flood after flood,
Yes, so
it's not that you didn't have that warning that there's going to be.
that's what.
So now you are not giving them that they must come up with
That's
action
what our
plan.
people call. They say water don't pass Gary.
You know, it's only in Nigeria. You see the Federal Executive Council approve Lagos Ibadan Road project. They approve the project, but they say this is the amount, but there's no drawing design yet for the road.
Yes, that's
So
what it is.
it's after you approve, then they will now go to get the people to bring the design, and then you say, oh, there was over violation. They didn't look at the economy people. They didn't look at environmental impacts assessment. So definitely, how we do here is
Sometimes
more about
without drainage.
we just do
Without drainage,
everything.
without drainage.
We just do everything. Like you said, we go to church, we pray,
and
we
forget our
believe,
sorrows.
we begin to, like Fela we say, we do suffering and smiling. Then after some time, we say one thing that
This
is
is just flood, though. What of insecurity?
That's
But in
another
the East, if I have 10 million naira in my house and I want to take it to the bank, would there be a bank to take it to? Which bank? When ESN is everywhere.
Then that means you now become those people that are keeping 10 million naira at home. So your money, that way you are giving, CBN will be able to justify their decision, and they say that you are not supposed to keep 10 million at home.
Okay, you say now that I should bring the money back.
Bring the money back to the banking
But I'm
system.
coming to the system. ESN is waiting for me on the road.
No, you see,
how will I get
sir, in a very good economy, if you are ending, if your account has always have maybe 5 million. The day you have 10 million in that account, it's supposed to be a red flag.
But they said that there won't be a red flag this time. They said everybody can do it and put it there. They have their target.
They have their target.
If you say they're going to be red flag, then that's why they're going to bureau to change. They didn't even think this is true.
They didn't think it through.
They didn't think it's true. And then you're going to bureau to change, and then there's scarcity of dollar. The naira goes down, inflation goes up. And importation, import-dependent economy, the imports become more expensive. The foreign man will suffer. There's no palliative for him. And you say you want to recover. Even when the money recovers, the injury is going to be long-term.
Long-term.
Because so many people will be out of job. Businesses will be in debt, and so on. I mean, they should think like economists. You know, the problem with economists is that they always think that life is about the economy. But economy is about society. I refer to this book, Carl Polanyi's book, The Great Transformation. In which it shows it traces the anthropology of economics, how human beings live together and how we developed.
You see,
how the formal economy was developed.
Nigeria,
so we know that it is the human being that is the economy, not money.
In Nigeria, economy is the money. You know why? we had economic recovery growth plan.
Yes.
Though that plan, now they say it's in the oven, it's in the laboratory, still waiting to grow.
Yes,
now, what I'm saying in essence is that plan does not carry the human capital of Nigeria. Right. Remember that Bill Gates at that time was the world richest man, came and criticized that document. And people like Nasiru El-Rufai saying he cannot teach us how to run our economy. Now, the greatest wealth of every nation is not that oil that we have.
It's the human being.
It's the human being, the human capital. That is why Chinese keep on exporting human capital outside the shore of their country and earn revenue on that. Nigerians are doing very well outside, but we are not bringing them into the team because of what? We like you said, we are just doing trial and error.
What they call the economy of affection, Richard Joseph. Lincoln said, he said, the greatness of a country does not consist in the number, but in the quality of its citizens. So that is where the greatness comes from. It is the people that are great.
Governance is all about people, security, and prosperity.
Exactly. Absolutely. Now we are in this situation that we have found ourselves. I'm wondering, is there any way out?
A way out. There's a way out. The way out is the CBN to come up and say, look, we are going to create that window for those of you that legitimately get money from Bureau de Change. Are we going to create it through the banking space? Like I said, if you go to developed countries of the world, you go into the bank, you do your transaction on exchange of currency, either to Naira or to dollar. Then the other way that the CBN can do, which I've been advocating since, is that give the bank the capacity also to have like their own bureau de change. If banks, most of the Nigerian banks have offshore funds in dollars. Why are you not telling them how to bring part of this fund in? When I'm a customer of a certain bank, I can go into that bank and legitimately do my transaction in dollars and tell them what I want to do it for. You know, what we see in Nigeria is that a lot of people are buying dollar based on speculation.
Speculation, yes.
People are not buying dollar because you need it. And so that's the problem we need to address. And what causes that is because you feel that when you need it, it will not be available. So you tend to guide yourself against it and say, no, there's availability now. Let me just be keeping it because I am not sure tomorrow it will be available. Now, why is it not available? We are not earning more dollar into our economy. Which way do we get more dollar? Who's our cash cow? The crude oil. Who owns that crude oil? NNPC. And what have NNPC done for the past 8 months? We've not received anything from them. What has happened to it? We have used it on subsidy. So we are not earning anything. As it stands, Nigeria earns nothing in terms of dollar. Because all the dollars, NNPC keeps saying, what we earn, we use it to fund subsidy. So there's no money. So what is seen here now, that's why you're seeing our foreign reserve has remained at 37, 38, then it goes to 40, then you push it for school fees, you push it for health, you push it for traveling, which only the rich benefit from. Look at the president of Kenya. When he came in the first day in office, he removed subsidy on petroleum product. But he did not remove subsidy on diesel. He said because most of the companies make for production. Yeah. So we remove subsidy so that you can reduce your what I call your desire. Not your want is you want to have food on your table. The industry will provide that food. But your desire is you want to drive your car from one point to the other. So maybe you need to begin to consider, do I really need to go to that place? Yeah. Economic of preference. And so what has he done? He has made sure that the cost of production has come down. Once cost of production comes down, that means you can be able to afford goods and services. That's it. Now, what we have here, we have three monsters in Nigeria economy that is fueling inflation. We have inflation that is driven by cost of production. We have inflation that is driven by microeconomic policies of the CBN, like what we are saying. Then we have inflation that is driven by demand and supply. Speculation. Supply chain. So definitely, we cannot continue to grow our economy like this. We need to take the hard decision. And when we take the hard decision, the people need to trust us that we are taking the hard decision.
That's the issue. Do they trust the government?
You don't trust them because even in this set that you are saying, oh, I should tighten my belt. You see, a lot of government officials with 8 to 6 cars flying the road. Who is tightening his belt? And they keep harassing the ordinary Nigerian who has just 1 car. That's why we keep saying to the ordinary Nigerian, government needs to come to them and say, look, subsidy is doing you no good. It is the rich that are enjoying subsidy. The poor are not enjoying any subsidy. If you want the poor to enjoy subsidy, then subsidize electricity. Both the rich and the poor will enjoy it.
That's it. That's
let the poor breathe between heaven and earth.
And that's why, like you said, the poor will always go to church and pray and believe God that one day our Messiah will come.
We are hoping that Messiah comes as quickly as possible because a lot of Nigerians are looking forward to that.
It is better to dream. That is forgotten the novelist now. There's this French novelist who said that it's better to dream to always have paradise because that's why you live. That's what makes you live. It doesn't that there's paradise, but you have to think about it.
Nigeria has been dreaming this way. We've not got into the paradise.
Nigeria has a lot
which way Nigeria? Which way to go?
Paradise,
Andrew not check
the
out.
The paradise of the imagination.
No, Andrew not check out has now changed to Japa.
Anyway, we have to leave the conversation here now, Mukhtar.